Good morning, everyone. I'm Mayor Becker. So pleased to have you join us this morning. I am joined on my right by Michael Iverson, who's the Community Council Chair for this area and also plays other important roles in the city. And then Mike Ackerlow, who is our Housing and Neighborhood Development Director within the city. I am particularly pleased, of course, to be at this site, which all of us know as the old Public Safety Building, and before that, the Northwest Pipeline Building, for those of us who have a long memory. This site, which is actually over 2 acres, presents a unique opportunity for our city to address a number of shared goals in a single project. These goals include community enhancement and revitalization, historic preservation, building our affordable housing portfolio, and creating much needed new long-term supportive housing. And for those of you who have been looking at this building, as I have for many, many years, I can't help but note that it is a unique architectural specimen in Salt Lake City. I'll never forget, and I noticed that Kirk Huffaker is here. I'm not seeing him right now, but I saw him a little bit earlier. When it must have been 15 years ago, I was sitting down with Kirk, who's head of the Utah Heritage Foundation, and he told me that this building had great historic significance. And I kind of laughed. I'm almost embarrassed to say today. But it turns out this building and what's now the Garf building at 4 South and Main are two remnants, really, of a famous architectural style that existed in parts of the country, including in Salt Lake City, called the International Style. And from that point forward, when I realized the historic significance of this building, I gained an appreciation for it and realized that whatever we did here, after I became mayor much later, that we needed to protect this building, and is now, I think it's on the National Historic Register. So this building is important for a lot of reasons, and the site, of course, is centrally located in Salt Lake City. This project is the first of 3 significant city-owned properties that will be marketed for development over the next 12 months. The other properties include the Barnes Bank building, which is at 2nd East and 4 South, and the Fleet Block. At this site, there will be 50 new supportive housing units and additional affordable housing units will be part of this effort to contribute directly to our ongoing 5,000 Doors initiative that was launched a year ago to help address Salt Lake City's lack of housing options. This initiative is promoting the development, the preservation, and the support of 5,000 affordable housing units over 5 years, and I have to say we're making incredible headway. Since announcing the 5,000 Doors initiative in January of this year, we now have 797 affordable housing units that have been built, preserved, and supported. That is 16% of our 5,000 door goal. Additionally, there are over 2,000 units that are in the application, pre-development, and construction phases. The supportive housing units are a critical aspect of the plan for this property and is guided by our Homeless Services 6-point strategy that emphasizes the importance of permanent supportive housing as a means of getting homeless individuals off the street. This type of supportive housing enables special needs populations to live as independently as possible in a permanent setting. It is a critical and essential piece of our work around homelessness and really builds on the success we've had for our chronically homeless friends. We also view the renovation of this historically significant building as a necessary component of redeveloping the site and recognize the importance of protecting our community's character through historic preservation efforts. The project will also bring some great new retail and commercial opportunities to the area, continuing to lay the groundwork for enhanced economic vibrance in our downtown area. The successful development will need to incorporate a high services and amenities that will integrate the development within the community and contribute to its vitality. At a minimum, successful development proposals will need to provide space for small local businesses and neighborhood service providers, public open space opportunities, and a variety of housing options for individuals and families. We're looking forward to reviewing the proposals for this project, and we'll be continuing to engage residents and local business owners in the process as we move forward. Now, I'm happy to turn the time over next to Mike Ackerloh, who has been working so hard, both within the city and with our partners, private profit and private nonprofit partners, to put together a framework for the redevelopment of this property that we are confident is going to be a great addition in so many ways to our downtown area. So, Mike?
Good morning, and thank you for coming out today. We are thrilled to announce the release of the request for proposals for the Northwest Pipeline Building and look forward to working with the development community to make this one of Salt Lake City's greatest places to live. As the mayor mentioned, the redevelopment of this property is a key contributor to the 5,000 Doors housing initiative that was launched earlier this year. 5,000 Doors is a call to action for our development community, lending institutions, and housing advocates to preserve, assist, and create 5,000 affordable units in Salt Lake City over a 5-year period. Too many of our residents are not able to find an affordable place to live. And by that I mean that they should be spending no more than 30% of their income on their housing costs. Due to the scarcity of affordable housing, many residents are living in housing where more than 50% of their incomes are going to housing costs, thus prohibiting them from enjoying some of the basic essentials of life. We know that housing is the foundation to a stable living environment. Imagine for a moment what it must feel like to not know where you're going to sleep tonight, or if you'll have enough hours from your 2 jobs to pay the rent and still have enough left over to feed your family. This may not be the reality for some of us here, but there are too many who have to face these struggles every day. But a safe place to live creates a sense of stability, of hope, and gives confidence and allows people to improve their lives. These are the people that we see every day. It may be the server at our favorite restaurant, the construction worker improving our streets, or our child's school teacher. Perhaps it is our own children who have just graduated from college and are in need of an affordable place to live as they start their careers. When 5,000 Doors was launched, we knew we had our work cut out for us. And we have been extremely pleased to see our development partners and financial institutions who are already contributing so much extend themselves even further and work through barriers to help us reach our goals. As the mayor mentioned, we are already at 16% of our goal of 5,000 doors, which translates into nearly 800 doors. This equates to over $4.3 million invested into affordable housing in Salt Lake City. Of the 5,000 doors, it's part of our goal to create 2,150 new units. 332 have been completed, and over 1,100 are in progress. Our goal to preserve 1,950 doors has resulted in 229 completed and another 580 in progress. And finally, our goal of 900 units to assist through down payment assistance grants, low interest loans for home buyers, and rental assistance, we have completed 236 and have another 370 in progress. We are moving along steadily and recognize that we couldn't do this without a supportive community and amazing partners. Today we release the request for proposals, or the RFP, for the redevelopment of this site. There are a number of required components that developers must do to be considered. First, developers will be required to provide housing for a mix of incomes. This includes a minimum of 50 permanent supportive housing units that are targeted to those who are currently homeless. I'd like to point out that this will be the first large-scale permanent supportive housing project in our city since Palmer Court opened 6 or 7 years ago. In addition to the permanent supportive housing, the selected developer will be required to provide an additional 25 to 35% of the units for those at or below 60% of area median income. The remaining units will be market rate, resulting in a truly mixed income community. Developers will also be required to provide neighborhood commercial spaces for small locally owned businesses and service providers. Such uses could include a restaurant, a bakery, daycare, medical clinic, or neighborhood market. In addition, the city will partner with an entity to operate a social enterprise that provides neighborhood commercial services and employment opportunities for chronically homeless individuals. The redevelopment of this site will also include public open space that can be used not only by those who live here, but by the surrounding neighbors as well. A critical component of the redevelopment is the requirement of developers to preserve the historic Northwest Pipeline building. The existing building was constructed between 1957 and 1958, and it was one of the few remaining structures in Salt Lake designed in the international style by Slack and David Winburn. As such, the building is recognized for its significance on the National Register of Historic Places, and given this, historic tax credits can be used in the rehabilitation of the building. I want to thank Mayor Becker for his vision and dedication to preserving so many of our city's great historic structures. The request for proposals can be found on our website, www.slcgov.com/hand, and also at www.bidsync.com. Any developers interested in submitting a response must register at bidsync.com. All responses are due by November 20th. In closing, I would like to thank all of you who have been instrumental in the creation of a vision for this site. This includes Central City Community Council Chair Michael Iverson and the Central City Community Council, who gave us great insight into this neighborhood and what they would like to see as a part of this redevelopment. It includes community advocates who reminded us of the great importance of preserving this historic building, and housing advocates who champion daily for those who need better affordable housing. It's great to see our city services at work. I also want to include our amazing staff at Housing and Neighborhood Development who put in a lot of time preparing this RFP and for tracking all the affordable housing doors in Salt Lake City. Thank you again for attending today, and we look forward to seeing you in the near future when we open doors to one of Salt Lake City's greatest communities. And now I'll turn the time over to Michael Iverson from the Community Council to share a few words.
Thank you. I'd like to thank Michael Ackerlow and his team for inviting me to speak and for being so open with the community on this project from the beginning. I'd like to talk about what makes Central City such a great neighborhood and why I'm proud to serve as chair of the Community Council. One of the unique aspects here in Central City is our density. We're at just under 2 square miles of space, and yet we have over 12,000 residents and over 2,000 businesses registered within our boundaries. This density contributes to what I think is the defining feature of Central City, and that's the walkability. On a Friday night in Central City, you can pick up a book at the bookstore, have a first-class fresh seafood dinner or the best pizza in town. You can stroll through the local galleries, have your choice of several cafes for coffee after dinner, and then grab a drink with friends. And I've only just described 2 square blocks of our neighborhood. And although I love my community, people sometimes approach me who want to move into the area, and I may be at a loss for words because I know that there is a lack of housing, and particularly a lack of affordable housing, particularly for students, members of marginalized communities, young families, and the elderly and the disabled. These folks are being priced out of our urban neighborhoods, and I know the building I live in has a waiting list of over 700 people. So when the city approached me about converting the historic Northwest Pipeline building into housing, I was intrigued, and when they assured me it would be mixed income and mixed use with services for our most vulnerable communities, I was downright excited. This is just the sort of project Central City needs, and the city has shown a commitment to public engagement throughout the process. Their commitment to affordability, ground-level retail, and open space will serve our community and grow our community for many years to come. I hope and expect to see a competitive bidding process, and I can't wait to open more doors for more neighbors here in Central City. Thank you.